We got to pull something up so I can read chat, but we are testing the live stream today, so we most likely won't do a full breakdown. We're just making sure everything works, and we're going to talk about stocks today. That we will be talking about the stock market. We're just making sure that the connection in my new place, I don't need to stream an Ethernet cord all the way down here. So just be patient with me today, all right? We're moving a little bit slower, but good morning. Like the stream as you come in. We will be having some fun this morning, but mainly just making sure this testing is going to work out. So you'll notice there's no camera or anything like that. We just have to make sure the quality is good. So you might hear me at random times ask if the quality is good, and I just need you to reply with, yeah, it seems pretty good. And I can read that in my chat, which I can't even read on my computer yet because I don't have my other monitor. Okay, but so we're just gonna, treat this like it's normal. Okay, we're gonna treat this like it's normal. And my desk wasn't gonna get here possibly till the 28th, so I am kind of doing this because I care about you guys. I care about this stream, and I know it's helpful, and I want people to learn. And I think volatility is going to scale up very quickly soon, and so I am going to pull this stream up today, and I'm going to do a test. So make sure it's all good. But as we look at the SPY, remember, we did give you some weekly ranges. I don't have the dailies for today. That's why these red lines are just going to be sitting way down here. And if I mess up my drawings or something, I don't even have my correct keyboard. So a lot of wonky stuff going on today, but that doesn't mean we can't break some stuff down. As of right now, this is the biggest signal you need to pay attention to. I want to make that very, very clear. This is the big signal. If we cross on this MACD down here, this is going to confirm divergence again across the way. Now, if we keep continuing up from here, and then we see this happen, right? If we start to violate these areas on the RSI, right? We come above a reading of, I would say, 74. That would make me kind of want to go, okay, maybe we're actually going to see some kind of divergence up in this area and then see that ripped away. So it could come around the corner. But as I said yesterday, I did post a little thing there, and make sure the sound quality is good too. I don't even know if I have the right mic, but I don't know if that's connected correctly. But make sure if my voice sounds good, sounds wonderful, let me know. Big thing here is just we could create these divergences and stuff first. So we have to be open to that. I have been keeping my eye on XLU, and this thing has been going sideways. Okay, this thing has been going sideways, which means the market kind of could go sideways or up from here. And another thing I've been looking at a lot over the past few days is how the dollar is kind of doing this flagging, but also still going up while the market is going up. Notice these are green for the most part, right? Down here, we actually see that go higher. And where's the SPY right now? It's actually at those higher levels. So I think there's two things to pay attention to. If we're going to see that crash very soon, pay attention to XLU. I think that's a very good thing to pay attention to. Look for this daily to cross over, and you can see it here on the Qs as well, heading up to that area where it's either we're going to violate all these divergences or it's going to prove itself. So I think that volatility could be around the corner. There's a lot of talk with the CAT system, and you're seeing a lot of penny stocks and stuff like that just start to rip because they most likely were illegally suppressing those stocks. And so the only ones we haven't really seen have that reaction is AMC and look away for two far screens. And yeah, NVIDIA earnings going to be very big. And I have to look down to read the chat, by the way. So things like this can be very important to pay attention to. I mean, if this is going to see something like this happen, that would make sense. XLU does the same thing, and then that's a pretty big signal to pay attention to. Note that we're outside of the monthly. So if extreme volatility comes in, that CAT system, remember, they're illegally suppressing the stock. It's been illegal since 2008 to do naked shorting, and nobody gets caught for it ever because they're rich people. And that's perfectly fine because we know that that's what happens. And the only thing that I've been kind of thinking over the last few days is if there is corruption in the stock market that we're actually going to call out and kind of see the people call out, well, then the corruption across the board might be called out. Social security corruption might be called out. Debt crisis corruption could be called out. All of these things can happen at the same time. And you're noticing, it's kind of like that psychological thing where it's like, whenever you have something bad happen, it's like everything bad happens at the same time. It just starts to pile on. And now what are we seeing? We're seeing a bunch of leaders. We're seeing the helicopter crash. We're seeing the election stuff start to scale up. We're seeing Israel stuff start to scale up. So all the bad things are scaling up. And guess what? The market just heads higher, and that's okay. So what we'll do for now is I'm going to start to break these down. Okay, so we did the daily side. We did the daily side. If this starts to turn around right now, we'll pay attention to XLU. Remember, XLU does like to go retest for a double top or even go make a little bit higher high, and then that's the actual moment of the crash. So we'll pay attention to XLU. It has not crossed over on the MACD yet, so we're not going to pull it up again. 2 hour is really what I want to pay attention to here. Now, I was looking at the 30-minute for this. I want you to see how we're moving sideways, kind of a decision point, and why I think volatility could come in anytime is because of this. So if we do not confirm upside here, we need to break through the high. We need to break through the high. That's very, very important. And people are trying to short it early. So when people try to short it early, that means the premium for shorts is going to be too high for the algorithms to actually go short, which means most likely we actually head higher from here. Because if we just break through this, we gravitate towards that weekly expected move. Then everyone gets bullish. We see the calls come in, and then that's ripped away. That's what I'd be paying attention to. Everything bad happens all at once. That sounds like my life. Exactly. So what do you have to do to get out of one of those cycles? It's called a negative loop. You're in a negative loop if you're in one of those cycles. You have to change something that you're doing. You have to completely change what you're doing. So here's the thing. You're like, okay, I short this. Oh, it turned around. Okay, I shorted again. Oh, it turned around. Oh, I short again. Oh, it turned around. Okay, you have to change what you're doing. So if you keep seeing this happen, you need to pay attention to better more information, not better, just more. Okay, if I think, oh, this is divergence, okay, cool. Well, now it's based out, and now it has the cup and handle thing going on the 30-minute. Sure, it's a drawn out handle, but that's almost a good thing. You build liquidity, and then a big move comes very, very soon after that. So that is something to pay attention to. It's kind of like the definition of insanity. You can't keep shorting a short squeeze over and over and over again. You're better off trying to short it when you see the signal once, failing that first time and saying, okay, I'm going to participate in the short squeeze. I'm going to participate the whole time. Say if a 30-minute crosses up, I'm going to go long. I'm going to go long every single time until a big signal forms. Until a big signal confirms, then you know, okay, the game has changed. That's how I would put it, okay? Now, these have beat me up before, and that's why I know a lot of these things, because I've been beaten up by a short squeeze before, but all I knew was, hey, what if I just stop trading? What if I just stop trading for a week? Wait for the environment to change. That's what I really do. Good morning, Philip. But by the way, good morning, DG, Dave, Quandale, Dingleberry, Mr. Dingleberry, David, Uniworld. Thank you guys for showing up. J. Cole missed. First one in, missed. Thank you so much for joining. I know that we're going to have to get the people back in here. I know that we haven't been posting videos. I've had to have moved like thousands of pounds of stuff, okay? So right now, what would you say if you were going to go short? You'd say, hey, this is an opportunity. But what if you just said, okay, I'm going to short here if this confirms, right? This is a kind of a learning moment, right? We have all this, okay? If this wants to drop down, what could happen? Well, we could see that right now. We could see that 2 hour crossover, right? We could see this 2 hour up here, if this wants to load, crossover. It already has. It's been moving sideways. So what's this mean? Well, this means, what's it doing? It could just build down to here and curl right back up. You're still in a short squeeze. So we have to pay attention to that. Now, I believe that things are changing. I believe that we're really going to see volatility start to come back in soon, because I'm seeing a lot of these divergences down here. Now, this is the type of stuff you see during a short squeeze. You see a ton of big divergences like this. I'm going to tell you which one matters, the one that's right here. Why? Come on, someone in the chat's got to tell me, why does this one matter? Why does the one that's way up here matter? Why does this one have a little less likelihood of turning us around? Why does this one here have a less likelihood? Why does this one here have a less likelihood? Well, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. We've got a lot of room to that center line. We've got a lot of room to that center line. We've got a lot of room to that center line. We've got a lot of room to the center line. Not as much here. You see the volatility pop. But the market didn't even go down because of this. Now you want to pay attention, because this is an opportunity for that to turn around. And if it's wrong, that's perfectly fine. You just want to pay attention to when this signal pops up. And then you want to say, okay, if I get screwed, right? And we're going to put a section on the course literally called How to Not Get Screwed. I'm going to make additional content onto the course if you're a part of it. And because I think volatility is coming back up, I've been getting a lot of emails, people saying volatility is coming back up. They might want to take the course. So I'm playing with what kind of thing to do with the course. I'm thinking of doing a sale or something like that, but we'll have to see. I got to get settled before we talk about any of that. If you guys want to throw out a stock for me to look at, I'm perfectly fine with that. One thing to note here, TLT building up, but starting to drop off over the last couple of days. Starting to drop off over the last couple of days. So that is something to pay attention to. Ooh, coffee. Thank you. You can put Toby at the top of it. Mine taking a look at HD, and we'll look at, actually, yeah, we'll look at HD, and then I'm going to look at NVIDIA most likely. So Home Depot, this one here starting to head way up, right? So we pull it up on the daily scale. Very, very good here. Where do you know that you can like be a little bit more comfortable getting in this trade? Well, it'd be right here, right? You're above the 200. You're crossed on the MACD going into positive territory right here. Same exact place. And we see that momentum shifting to the upside on the RSI. So this is a very good point to pay attention. And then what do you get? Well, you get triple divergence. So we get triple divergence up at this level. Boom, boom. This is when you know dramatic weakness. So do you see how the daily is where you pay attention? This is squeezing, this is squeezing, this is squeezing. And so 2 hour divergence is here, 2 hour divergence here, 2 hour divergence here, 2 hour divergence here, 2 hour divergence here. But what matters is when the game changes, okay? So the daily side able to cross down on the MACD and confirm these close to the center line. You notice this one still a little bit further away, still an opportunity for another curl up. Guess what? We curl up. Now we're a little further, now we're a little closer actually. And then boom, this crossing right here is where we go, okay. This is a confirmation bar for downside. We get the downside. Now we move sideways. Be careful. If you lose this 200, you're probably heading lower and making some kind of divergence. I want to point that out. You're probably making some kind of divergence, but we know those things take time on a daily scale. So what's the 30-minute look like? Well, it's been beat up. It's been beat up. So what if we get a little counter trend first? What if we get a little counter trend like this first and then that drops off? So what I like to do in an environment like this is build a short position. So as of right now, I am building a short position. I told you guys I bought UVXY somewhere around here. I sold out of that move just because, I sold out of it in this little dip right here because I was just like, okay, I'm going to wait for it to really prove itself. And I think we could head higher here. I think that we could head higher because the put call ratio is still at a 1.0 pretty much. So there's an opportunity for a drop here if the calls come in. And right now that just switched to 0.98. So if we get a bunch of calls to trickle in, which I'm trying to learn more about dark pool data, that would be very, very cool for us to pay attention to, because that tells us, oh, well, the calls have really been like, okay, this is going to go up. And then the algorithms just kick in and say, oh, now puts are cheap. Boom. And it falls down. QQQ from NVIDIA earnings. It depends on where we're at. Let me see here. Oh yeah, let's look at this one first. Let's go down the line. Okay, we're gonna look at MicroStrategies, then we're gonna look at NVIDIA actually. We're gonna look at NVIDIA and then we'll talk about the Qs with that as well. What does this look like to me? Well, this is a big rapid upward move. Okay, so this is a big upward move. It's a strong move. If you're a swing trader, this is very, very good, right? Crossing on the MACD, crossing up on the center line for the RSI. You get this closing bar above the 5, right? If you want another, if you were out on this bar, okay, you get back in on this one. Boom, you take a little run up. So this was a good little trade here. Now I would say, well, what did we do? We got outside the Bollinger Band. We go and test the 5. Now we can head higher. But what if this gives you a lower high, right? This is a good area probably to complete the cup, right? You see this area right here, obviously important. Cup. Now we get a handle and then we head higher. So what would I do on this 2 hour? I'd really pay attention to the 2 hour. It's going to like, I notice I didn't even need to really see the chart before I know, hey, I need to look at a 2 hour. If this beats down and curls back up, boom, there's your handle. That's your handle. A 2 hour chart's going to show you your handle. Look at this. Boom, handle. Okay, we're off to the races. We break through this level. We probably go make a new high here. But you have to pay attention to how you can get screwed. So we have to pay attention to how we can get screwed. If that 2 hour is not going to form the handle, what's going to happen? This daily is going to cross over. This daily is going to cross over because that will be too much of a pullback on the 2 hour. And then we'll see that cross. And where are you? You're really close to the center line. So that's how you pay attention to how you could get screwed. Now this looks bullish. This looks bullish. Do not get me wrong. You're not below the 200. You got tight. Now you see the explosive move. The direction was chosen. And now I'm just saying we could get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a fifth move up. And then right when everyone's euphoric about it, it starts to drop down. Okay, let's pop over to NVIDIA. I'm going to try not to read the chat to distract myself. Now, this is, remember where we were talking about this last week in our last live stream. You can literally go look at it. I was like, I marked off this green line. I said, this is exactly where resistance would come in. This would be a great place to make the cup and handle. And why did I decide that? Well, because look at these closing bars. We couldn't close above there. We keep wicking out above there. And I go, that's where the resistance would be nice. Now you have the 2-hour handle, and all you're waiting for is a confirmation for upside. Look at that. You're waiting for confirmation for upside here. I would be very, very cautious with this. I looked at the dark pool data, and NVIDIA has a bunch of outflows. I will recheck it tonight. I do not want to put it on stream. I don't want to put it in my videos just because I don't have the full grasp of it yet. But I can tell you that, you know, pretty much there's a section where it shows you, oh, people are buying and bars will be going up like this. And what's it saying the insiders are doing? It's actually the opposite way. I'm seeing huge outflows out of NVIDIA. Now, take that with a grain of salt, right? Take it with a grain of salt. We still pay attention to the signals. I'm not going to say, oh, an insider sold, so it has to crash next week. But that could mean this tops out very soon. That's what I would say. Mojoma, I miss you guys. I miss you guys. I don't get to see your guys' faces, but I miss hanging out with you guys. And that's why I literally brought down a desk. I brought down my wife's desk today. I grabbed my mic. I have her mouse, which is amazing. It's wireless, and I think I might buy one. I'm finally going to buy a mouse now that I moved in. We went couch shopping. Like, we've had so much going on, so I appreciate you guys being patient, waiting for the stream and the videos to come back up. Literally yesterday, I was like, I'm going to put up a video, and then no, not so much. Now, the big thing with the and then I got busy again. So today we get our couches, and I'm very excited. We got some nice. We're going with a like an 80s themed living room. It'll be sick. We got some like orange couches and shit. It's awesome. I'll have to put out a picture for you guys or something. Okay, now. What's going on here is if this is very bad news, which I just told you, the insiders are saying they're outflowing out of NVIDIA. So even if NVIDIA produces good numbers, what if that just fades because the rest of the insiders are out? Okay, we have to pay attention to what they do. We have to pay attention to what they do because once the call side just gets too expensive, the algorithms are going to sell it off. So if the call side gets too expensive, the algorithms are going to sell it off. All right, that's just what happens. That is exactly how the market works. And that's all you really need to know about this is the stocks that the market makers are really paying attention to. Okay, up here, that's why the ranges are so good because usually by the time you're at this range, everyone is taking calls. And what's happening at that point? Well, then puts get really, really cheap. And then the market starts to pull that down with the insiders making their big plays. That's why the weekly ranges do give you an advantage. And so when you see one of those 32% chances, and I want you guys to remember last week with the SPY, when we got up towards the range, and then I said, uh-oh, there's no put volume. There's a ton of put volume coming in, and calls are still cheap. And what did the market do? It hesitated here, and then it just went like this, right? And then at the end, what happened? Everyone got calls, and I think it retested that area. So right when everyone got a bunch of calls, it retested the area. So that's really what you need to know is like the algorithms are doing it based on what is the most costly thing. So if puts are too expensive, then the market will not drop, most likely, unless there's just something horrible going on. Now, if calls are too expensive, then it will drop. That's kind of how it works. And yeah, this is why I'm telling you guys stuff like this now, is just because I knew all this stuff, but I don't want people to think like, oh, calls are expensive, so the market has to drop. No, it's when you see those signals, when we see a 2-hour divergence, right? We see a 2-hour divergence like this. We see the divergence in the MACDs like this. And then you notice everyone got calls up in this area. Okay, boys. Sorry about that. The boys are down here with me for now. They're in my office. So if calls are expensive here, that is when you will most likely see a drop. We can take that into consideration. But let's say we get a little drop here and everyone gets zealous and puts 1.2 put to call ratio. It's going to go up. because the algorithms are going to kick in and push it higher. It is meant to screw over the individual traders. It is meant to screw you guys over. And that's why what are we going to do? We're going to add that how to not get screwed as additional content to the course. Okay, so I'm going to add a section to the course that's called just additional content, important additional content. And we are going to be talking about things like that. All right, let's look at the Qs now. So how will this affect the Qs? Well, if NVIDIA sells off, AMD is going to sell off. If AMD sells off, other AI stuff's going to sell off. You got what? MicroStrat or Micron. You got all other things that could sell off. You got Intel or something like that. All these things could sell off. So what does that mean to me? Well, what's happening right now? The Qs going higher, okay? If NVIDIA produces bad numbers, well, the crazy thing here is if NVIDIA produces good numbers, and then all the retailers take calls and that goes up for a second, what's going to happen? It's most likely going to be ripped away very soon by some bad news. Now, I do need to look at economic data and things like that. Pretty sure, don't we? I don't even remember. Is FOMC minutes is today, correct? Can someone get me on that? Alfredo, I missed you too. Brian, welcome. What up? Thanks for the fist bump. What was one that I was looking at? Because I was looking at a cool site here that I wanted to share with you guys. And that's going to be this guy here. So this guy here will tell you about the halts for trades. All right. So if like a stock is seeing a big rapid move, and I was watching one stock and I was like, what if you just look at a stock, you see which one gets halted first, and then you go look at the rest of the day. And I did that. And I would have made like 100% just buying the stock. So imagine if you took an option play. But I saw one go from 10 cents to $1.25 in one day because it had so many halts. I could pay attention to it. So OGen, this is just something for fun that we're going to do. We can look at OGen. So you notice that this one was heading up. This is one that I saw in there yesterday. So what do you see? 937, you saw a halt here. It's just something cool to pay attention to that I'm playing with, but I just wanted to show you guys that for fun. All right, everything looks good though. It seems like it's acting pretty good. We're not going to do the longest stream today. We're not going to do the longest stream, but I promise you, once that desk comes in and once I can get my camera set up, pretty much once we're fully set up, most likely it will be happening. I'm going to try to at least pop in here for an hour or so, and I might try to make YouTube videos. Okay, so I might be trying to make YouTube videos. We might only get to use the chart, so you guys might not get to see my face still. All right, let's pop through some of the ones that we do cover on this channel. Let's see how Apple's acting. Remember this one, squeeze, okay? So this is one that we were mentioning. Hey, 30-minute divergence, looks like we could see some downturn here. What happens? We squeeze, we squeeze, we squeeze. Now we're getting into a danger zone. Now we're getting into a very dangerous area. And why am I going to say that? Well, you have a 30-minute that's getting up towards that retest. We actually talked about the retest for Apple way back before it even had earnings. We said, if this wants to be extremely bullish, where could we squeeze to? Well, most likely I was leaning towards this zone. But as people try to short this more and more, what are we going to see? We're going to see the market head up. Why? Because the algorithms know it can keep heading up because there's no real economic news going out. And what else? Puts are expensive because everyone is trying to short. Puts are actually more expensive probably than to go to the call side. So that's what happens. So since the calls aren't expensive enough, guess what? They're going to wait till they are expensive enough, and maybe that point is right here. This is why I actually completely unsubscribed to Ron Walker. I'm not talking against him. I just think that his information is not helpful at all. Pretty much anytime he sees the slightest divergence, he just says like, this is the moment. We could head higher, but this is like, he's pretty confident with it. And I just think he needs to stick with daily charts or something like that. Because I was just like, I didn't take any trades because of him. Obviously, I don't take trades because of any YouTuber. I will not do that. And now I think it's funny that a lot of the YouTubers that were saying the AMC thing was a hoax and all that, and the short squeezing was a hoax, and all the smaller stocks, now they're starting to flip the script. Who's that one guy? That one kid. There's like some kid that does stuff, Gutierrez or something, and he's just, ugh. I like to watch his every once in a while to just make fun of him in my brain. But okay, we can head up like this. Okay, what can happen here? This is where we can see resistance. We actually can see that right now. So the reason that I'm talking about it now versus we were talking about it over here. We might have talked about it a little bit. And then we see this upward move right here and we go, okay, now we're squeezing. Pay attention to the put call ratio. Now we're really, really close to that center line. So where did we talk about it? We talked about it here. Okay, you see the dramatic drop. But what most likely happened in this area? Everyone probably took a bunch of shorts. Everyone probably took a bunch of shorts, so then the calls were cheaper, and the algorithms go, oh, calls are cheaper. That's probably what happened here. Do you think I should sell? I don't trust any YouTuber that does not allow comments. They don't allow comments either. Welcome, Dawson. Welcome. Landon, welcome. I'm sorry I took a hiatus, but I promise you I am deadbeat tired all the time. And you guys know if I had the energy to really, I haven't even been really paying attention to stocks. I've been looking at them throughout my day and stuff like that every once in a while, but not close enough to take trades. So I got out of all long positions, and I would highly suggest that, or I would say it this way. I have to say it a certain way. Smart traders would most likely move into a different product or a different asset than stocks right now that are at all-time highs. That's what I will say. Do you think I should sell my Apple calls? I have 920 or 192.50 that I bought at 195.50 and that expired. Sorry, my phone's really tiny with the words here. Or should I wait till after the Nvidia earnings? I would tell you this. Apple, it's at 192.50. If you bought it at 190.50, so you're saying you bought it here and it's already at 192.50, you most likely have made over 50% by now. That is a get out of jail free card. Even if it goes higher, I'm telling you something really, really bad. I don't know what is going to cause it at this point, whether it's going to be that CAT system getting implemented and all these people have to start to take out all of those positions. So the reason the CAT system can mess up the market is, and this was very hard to put in words, so I hope some people were able to put it together when I messaged about it, because they're forcing stocks to go down with naked shorts. What do they have to do? Well, technically, at the end of the day, if that stock was higher, they will have to cover those shorts, even if they do not own the stock. And it's actually worse if they don't own the stock because they have to buy the stock back. They have to buy the stock back if it's borrowed shares. And if they're proven that they don't even have it, then that could cause a stock to go infinite. Okay. Now, what could that mean? Okay. Just because I'm talking about one stock going infinite, then, you have potential for GME. You actually do have potential for GME to hit like 700 or 1,000. I want to point that out. I've ran the numbers. You have potential to see 400, 500, 700, 1,000. You do have that potential. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's potential for that. Now, why would that happen? Well, because if these people get in trouble because the stock remains higher, well, then they have to cover. And if they're doing that with naked shorts, then they want to buy as many shares as possible so they don't get in trouble. So they don't get in trouble, they have to buy as many shares as possible. What will that cause? That could cause the stock to go infinite to the upside. And by infinite, I've calculated kind of like $700. I am holding AMC. Like I said, I was willing to lose all that money. I am holding it until... pretty much I'm holding it because I think AMC actually is shorted heavier, and I think it's kind of a sleeper right now. I think people are saying, oh, like here's the thing about AMC that you don't understand. You do not normally see a short interest stay at about 20%, a short interest float stay at 20% for years. It stayed at the same short flow interest, which tells me something sketchy is happening there. Ricky's pretty good, honestly. I don't know about his inside stuff. I just know the way that he talks about certain aspects. I think and I don't know everything. I'm the first one to admit that. I don't know everything. I'm sure he doesn't know everything. And he flip-flopped. I will give him the credit for that. He flip-flopped on his analysis on some stuff in the last few days. I don't follow him. I just happened to, he popped up on my recommended for a couple videos, and the way he was talking about stuff, it seems like he did some research on a lot of things over the weekend and he came back with a new take, and I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah, I'm not trying to get in any battles or anything like that with anyone, but I would also say if you have 600, I think he has like 700,000 subscribers, congratulations to him, but I would probably have more views on videos if I was a very, very helpful person to my subscribers. Not talking any crap though. Let's not talk. Let's just focus on what we're doing. Okay, let's focus on what we're doing. He's done very well, and congratulations to him. So up in this area, what would I say? This might be your get out of jail free card. What if you have the potential? Like, here's the thing. If you let's say you had $1,000 in options for Apple at your 192.50 and you bought that at 190.50 and now it's there. What does that mean? You're probably up 50 to 100% depending on what expiration you took, but you're probably up 50 to 100%. So what does that mean? And thank you for congratulations, Fardis. What does that mean? Well, it means this is a winning trade for me right now. Now, what is there potential for at the end of the day or going into tomorrow? Well, there's potential for tomorrow to be a bad thing for me, right? There's potential for this week to be a bad thing for me. So what would I be doing? I would really be paying attention to my weekly expected moves. Now, we're not going to pull those up right now. I need my other screen set up in order to do that. I actually don't even know where the range is for Apple because I haven't been paying attention to the individual stocks as much. I've just been paying attention to SPY Qs, volatility, the dollar, and XLU. But this might be a get out of jail free card to say, okay, well, what happens? And then you say, oh, I missed out on a big move. That's perfectly fine. All you have to do is keep doing the same things you're doing, right? Same things you're doing. You can enter in after that volatility. The thing is, if you're up 50%, that means, hey, I have the potential to take 50% right now. Now you could play it to the upward range, right? We still have a little time, so you could play to the upward range. That's what I normally do. But as of right now, I would say get out of jail free card before some major volatility comes in. Yeah, I'm taking that, right? We talked about that before. A lot of earnings in the last few weeks, how a lot of earnings, the stock gave you a get out of jail free card and people didn't take that. And guess what? They were hurt a lot by it. Some people were almost ruined by it. See, I don't know if I should sell that because if NVIDIA earnings and guidance are good, would it drive the price up? Okay, the all-time high 58. So here's the thing. What did you just say? You said one of the 50% scenarios. You're in a positive thinking right now. Your emotions are positive. Why? Because the stock is going up, but you're not thinking of the other side. So pretty much you're saying, hey, I just made all this money and I'm willing to lose it and the rest of it and go negative just because of a 50-50 flip. Don't trick yourself into thinking like, oh, because the stock is good and I'm green, I have a better percentage, right? I have a better percentage than what the percentage actually is going into earnings, which is 50-50, okay? What this means is all you did was say, hey, I could have made 50% here, I'm 50-50 flipping it. Yeah, you can make 100, 200, 300%, fine. That's fine. That is your risk. It's your trade. I totally understand. I'm telling you what I would do and what most likely a diligent trader would do who knows that the market is set up to hurt retail traders. So I'm going to take a get out of jail free card. I'm going to take profit when I can. I would not even be playing this. I'd be like, hey, this is a good week for me. 50% is a good week, honestly. That's probably thousands of dollars for me. So what would I do? Okay, cool. I made thousands of dollars. That'd be awesome. But Lana, do what you think is best. I think one thing you could also do, a lot of people do in this scenario, is if you have multiple contracts, they will sell enough to break even on the trade and leave a runner or two, right? You leave a runner or two going into it, and then you just sell that the next time so that you pretty much will make a profit no matter what, as long as someone's willing to buy the contract. Most people buying it lose money. Yes, and they do. Well, so if most people lose money on it, so here's the thing. Most people who believe in the movement actually don't lose money on it unless they do something wrong. So most people do not lose money. I'm going to go back. We'll look at AMC for a second to show you guys some stuff. Okay, so who lost money in this? Do you think it was the people who are believing in the movement down here? Do you think any of these people are losing money right now? No, they're not. These people are not losing money. The people who are losing money are the people who didn't believe in it, and then it goes up like this. And this is proof. This right here, this amount of volume here, by the way, I have a different thing on my other screen. Usually I have my other chart set up, and it does give me the ability to turn on volume for a second. The amount of volume here, if you think that GME made this move because of a tweet, you are wrong. This is not because of a tweet. This is because of what we were talking about those short sellers. Someone panicked and got out of those positions right around this area and caused a rapid upward move. The amount of volume here for retail, like you realize this would be retail all at the same time spending hundreds of millions of dollars. This is what could happen with the short sellers. This is proof that the short sellers are there and they are a little bit scared if the price remains high. Now, here's the thing. Are they scared at this level? That's the thing. So it's paying attention to what level they're scared of. It seems like right here, maybe this jump here was retail, right? But this jump right here was a short seller, some short seller getting out of some of their position. That's what I would say, just based on the volume alone. No, I made profit from it yesterday. Most people will make profit. So the people who aren't going to make profit are the people who, now there are people who, let's say this is the all-time high for GME. There are people who still believe GME was going to go higher than whatever price they predicted back in 2021, 2022, 2021. So those people are still holding. A lot of them are still holding, and that's not diligent trading. Once you see the signal this is down, there should be no taking upside, right? We talk about that a lot. This cross down on a 30-minute MACD right here, if that could go back to positive on a 15-minute, then we could get back in that play. It didn't. It didn't. Remember, we gave you the checks in order for this to actually go positive, in order for this to make the next upward move. It never confirmed the upward move, right? So this is a time to say, hey, the next takeoff could happen. Maybe I want to take a play here. Okay, now what do I know? Well, that play is not happening. I should be out right away. You should be out right away because this is an extremely volatile thing. Now, what would you say? Well, this is the opportunity. This could go positive. What happened? It didn't fully go positive, right? We didn't remain positive. We didn't go positive. We didn't go positive. We didn't go positive. Now we're in a positive environment, actually. So even though the stock looks very flat, I want you to make sure to note this is in positive territory right now. Let me zoom out and show you guys. This is in positive territory, right? So now is the opportunity where this actually could see a boom. And this is what we want to talk about. This is why I posted a little post on YouTube, which is why you should have notifications on, because now is the second check. The first check, cross up on the MACD on the 15-minute. We did that multiple times now. The second check, get into positive territory. What's the next one? We have to break through resistance levels. I'm thinking right in this area, but I think the main area that you have to get above, 47.57. That would be a more of a confirmation that, yes, we are going to see a rapid upward move. But if you are losing in these types of plays, you are not thinking of that stuff. You're just saying this is going to squeeze into, into heaven. It's going to squeeze to the moon. That's what it is. It's going to squeeze to the moon. And the problem with that is you have a lot of things. You have a lot of people who are way, way richer than the retail trader, the average retail trader, and they're going to suppress the stock. They're going to halt. They're going to halt. They're going to halt. There was a halt right here. There was a halt, obviously, right here. They suppressed the stock. I mean, that is suppression. And then right here, this is going to be suppression. And then right here, this is suppression. We make the upward move. What do? They rip it down in the aftermarket. So this is short sellers getting worried because of the volume. And then this is halts, halts, halts. But notice there's not halts to the downside. There's no halts to the downside. This means that it is rigged for you to lose money as a retail trader. And so you have to wait for the signals. You have to wait for the 3 checks. And if you want to get in before those 3 checks, I would highly encourage you not to do an options play and scale into a position. It's exactly what I advised a couple of my friends who were asking me about this. I'm just like, hey, if you want to take a play on it, it's perfectly fine. What do you have to lose? The funny part about stocks is, the good part about stocks is a lot of situations in life, it's very hard to understand exactly what you have to lose. But if I say, hey, I have $1,000 that I do not mind losing all of it, then I know my risk is $1,000. Yeah, so my risk is $1,000, right? Say my risk is $1,000. My risk, I believe, is still $2,500. I'm thinking about maybe scaling in a little bit more right now. just based on where it's at. But what's my risk? $1,000. That's all I know. And I'm like, okay, my reward is what? My reward is they did something very illegal, and I can be one of the ones to help catch them in it. And if I'm right, I could make $100,000 from my $1,000 play, or I could make $50,000 or $20,000. Hell, $1,000, I could make $5,000. That would be a great trade, right? So the risk is lose $1,000 over the next year. The reward is make $5,000 to $100,000 over the next year. That's a pretty solid risk to reward, I would say. That's a pretty solid risk to reward. Good morning, BK. NVAX hymns. I have not looked at those. I'll take a peek at them tonight, and then maybe I can talk about them more tomorrow. But I'm going to tell you something very, very big here too. The 2 hour, actually, if this curls up, this is going to be a good sign. So you notice the 2 hour is the only one, the one that I like to pay. Oh, also something very cool. If you were following us when we started talking about AMC, remember when it was all the way up here, I said this is going to pull back. Pay attention for the 30-minute to cross over. Okay, the 30-minute did cross over, but notice it got deep into negative territory. So the last time I said the 30-minute was able to hang up here, right? The 30-minute was able to remain positive. This went negative, so you have to pay attention and say, this is all areas to scale in. Okay, now we've crossed. Awesome. Now I have to go positive. What am I creating right now? A divergence. And the coolest part about this high up here was when all of this was fading live. You can go look at the live video. When all of this was fading, what did I mark off? 437. 437 was, I was like, that's your line in the sand. That's probably as low as this can go. And look at this. We go to like 435 or something like that, because this is where we need to hold up. This is where you really need to hold up. And in order to get extremely bullish, what do you need to do now? Well, we're rolling back into negative, so you don't want to lose 437. That would kind of encourage me like, hey, get out of the position, but I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it the whole time because I don't want them to trick me in any way, and I'm willing to lose the money. Now, what do I need in order for this to actually make an upward move? See that momentum prove like I'm going to go to the upside. Well, it's right by positive territory. It's trying to cross down. Okay, so I need that to cross back up. I need that to break through resistance, and then I need that to break through the next resistance. This one here, 739, is very, very important. And if you're part of Patreon, which is the link in the description, you can get the weekly range for this. And someone was commenting, because the weekly range is something like this. Someone was commenting and saying, oh, AMC has the opportunity to skyrocket way higher than that. And yes, that calculation I made at the time had extreme volatility in it. And I think that's why I got those calculations at the time. But right now, what you have to understand about ranges is this is still a very big range for a stock that's priced at 449 right now. Okay, so what you have to pay attention to is if you are going to see a short squeeze, what did the SPY do? The SPY went up in that area, and then it started to pull down. People went really bearish, and then it broke through, and it ended the week outside of that move. That is the 32% chance. And short squeezes take you outside of these moves. Short squeezes are part of that 32%. Okay, so the potential for this week and next week, I believe, for AMC is who is going to win. Is it going to be retail traders who are able to get those shorts to cover, and then that causes the short squeeze that breaks you through and you see one of those 32% chances? Or are they going to be able to keep it in this range this week, or even break it down and the short sellers actually do win and you see some kind of rapid move to the downside? That is the two scenarios that I really see playing out. And I do believe that, you know, a lot of the stock of AMC is held by retailers. So the fact that AMC is suppressed this heavy is not very good. I've done a lot of fundamental research as well for AMC to note that they sell their popcorn in stores right now. You can go buy AMC popcorn in Walmart, and they have a huge amount of supply, but it is always sold out. So their earnings is going to be insane. If we do not see it now, I highly suggest you pay attention to AMC. I believe sometime around August. I have to pay attention. I have to see, because this earnings right here in August, you could see the data from those popcorn sales, and they are selling out. People are mad because they can't find it anywhere because it sells out so fast, and they have a huge supply of it. What did you purchase for $1,000? I didn't purchase anything for $1,000. I purchased, I have an AMC. I scaled into my last position at 437. That's when I added the last amount of that position. And as of right now, I'm holding AMC with about $2,500 play behind it. And if I start to see momentum prove itself to the upside, I might add more. It is an opportunity, and you still can play things like this based on momentum. And that's, I think, where maybe Ricky was right. Maybe he is right to say most people don't do this, and I want you guys to do this, and I want you guys to, learn. And that's why the course is down below. So if you're interested in getting the course, screw it. If volatility is going to go up, I said when volatility really screams, I like to do a big sale on the course. I'm going to be, and for you people who already took the course at maybe a higher price than $100, that's what I'm thinking about right now, bringing back that $99 course, because I think volatility is going to scream higher. That's when I like to do a sale on it. So if you're interested in that, we'll talk about that over the next few days. And if people are interested in it, I'm getting emails of people saying, I really want to take the course. I really want to take the course. Can you do a sale? And I'm just like, well, I'm kind of busy right now. But no, I'm in AMC with about $2,500, which is not a huge position for me. It is an amount that I'm willing to lose. But I want you guys to see how, if you have less money than, say, I do or any other trader does, well, what can you do? You can be a good trader. You can be a good trader. What is happening as of right now? This is one of those situations where you could get screwed. This is saying do not take upside on the 30-minute, and I love my 30-minute charts. But what if we do this by the end of the day? And this crosses up. What would I say? Get the in. That's what I would do in my brain. I would be like, Luke, what are you doing? Like, get into this. This is the momentum saying I'm going positive. That is when you say, okay, I take the play. That is being a good trader, and that's this type of stuff you're going to learn in the course. And you can do it with even stocks like this. And then if you want to know when to sell this type of stuff, go back, do your research, look back into the past, pull up a 2-hour chart, scroll all the way back to when AMC hit its high, find the point on the RSI that it hit, and then say, once it hits that point, I am going to sell. Because this, the last time that this happened, it was very, very brief. It literally was like, boom, and then the 30-minute crossed over, and you never retested that high. And then it went like this, and then bounced up and gave you a lower high, right? So what would you say? Well, maybe I just play this until it hits that point on the RSI of 96. Right? On a 30-minute chart. Maybe this goes boom like this and it gets a reading of 96 or 97 and you say, okay, I sell. That pulls down because there will be pulling down. There's manipulation in it. There's people who hit the sell button because they're in positions up here and they're like, I don't want to get screwed by this in the long term, blah, 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 blah. Right? So that's what people are going to do. They're most likely going to sell if this thing opens up at I think my target for it is about $16 to $20 right now if it sees an upward move. But in order for that $16 to $20 to happen, it has to prove itself. So even though some people are like, hey, maybe like don't want me paying attention to these meme stocks, pay attention to this. Just imagine it's not a meme stock. We're talking about momentum exactly how we do with other stocks. The exact same way. Now, something I did mention was gold. I put this onto my Patreon and I said this is a good place to take profit for gold, and I believe that was somewhere right around here, right around that 221, 222 price point. Now, this actually went higher after I said that, and that's why it was, a take profit overall, but it's because I see weakness in this. I do not think that gold is going to continue to skyrocket. Now, that is perfectly fine. What could happen? 30-minute can cross up positive territory, and I know, hey, don't go short here. Right? You're always paying attention to how you can get screwed, and we're going to put that full video, which will be more descriptive and precise, onto the course probably before we make it $99. Now I kind of want to. I mean, I've been getting a few emails. I had like 5 or 6 people email me like, hey, could you do a sale on the course? And I think now would be the right time because this right here, this volatility going extremely, extremely low, and we're seeing a bunch of different, it looks like it can really start to scale up. So NVIDIA, you just went long. Well, what do I notice? Well, the put-call ratio just went down pretty dramatically to 0.82. Remember, it was at a high of 1.15, and then we squeezed. Now we head down. So what does this tell me? Well, if they wanted to screw over retail traders, what would they do? Well, the algorithms would say calls are starting to get a little bit more expensive than puts. So therefore, or no, sorry, they're saying puts are starting to get, yeah, calls are getting more expensive than puts, which means what are they going to do? They might bring the stock down. They might bring the stock down. You need to pay attention to that, because how can you get screwed? Well, this level right here is telling you a lot of people are taking calls in the market before that's happening. So not saying it's a bad play by any means. I would just pay attention to how you can get screwed. And that's why I think that's a very important thing to have in the course at this point, because what you need to see in order for that upward move is a flip to the upside. A flip to the upside, you break through 958 and you're able to close up there. Scaled in, also I have puts from February, 3 contracts. And I have been working with AD, by the way, just talking with him. It's very difficult with everything that's going on right now, but I'm trying to talk to him. I mean, overall, I'm like, there's some crazy things that could happen by the end of May. I would try to hold by the end of May, and that's very, very hard to do as you are seeing stuff like this. So what do we notice now? By the way, we just saw calls really start to trickle into the market as the SPY creates a triple divergence. So what would that tell me according to what the algorithms would do? Well, right now, calls are more expensive than puts. So I believe that the algorithms will maybe make a downward move right here. Now we'll see if that's right. You still need other things to prove. But what does this say? This says triple top right now on the 30-minute. Very, very close to negative territory. And calls just got more expensive. So algorithms are behind you as well. Boom, this starts to head down. We'll see if that's correct. But if we start to see puts really scale up really, really fast, right? If we see a dramatic move down like this, and then puts are really, really expensive, what does that algorithm switch to? It says, oh, calls are cheap again. It says calls are cheap again. Whichever one's cheap is the way the algorithm's going to go. As long as something really dramatic isn't happening. Rolls Royce, we haven't looked at that. Let's look at that. That'll be fun. Oh, shoot. RR, wait, is this the right one? Wait, this can't be the right one. This isn't Rolls Royce, is it? Rich Tech Robotics? That can't be it. Come on, make sure this is it, but... let's see, Rolls Royce stock. Can we look at it? What this is tapering and you're really close to the center line. Earnings, March 24 on Wednesday, May 24th. Oof. Ugly, ugly look. I mean, this is something that could be an opportunity, but this would be a maybe buy and hold if you're looking at Rich Tech Robotics, but I don't think that's it. Yeah, I was going to say, well, I have RR. Let me see if I just type it, if it works for me. RR period. This is momentum dying out to the upside on the daily scale. The likelihood to head down here, it's likely right now. But what's happening in the current price action? Cup and handle. Look at this. We're going up to here. We create the cup. Now we have a handle. And now people are probably taking a bunch of puts on it. Let's see if those puts increase. All right, I can look at a 2-hour. 2-hour divergence is there. The only problem here is what if a lot of people go bearish on this? Earnings is a 50-50 flip. You know I don't trade around earnings. What are you creating as of right now? Well, we have the cup in the short time frames up like this. That's what I'd be paying attention to for Rolls Royce. And I wouldn't look at a 2-hour because that looks like it's going to cross and go negative. So I want to see if the hourly is able to go negative, right? So this is selling off. And I believe you haven't gotten the earnings yet. Let me take a double check. Well, it might not have earnings. All right, it's very hard for me to click around without my other screen and all my setup. Not till June. Ooh, this is some crazy behavior. All right, 30-minute chart's what we like. Okay, so 30-minute goes negative. You can be a little bit more confident. But just know that this is a cup and handle type formation here. And what could we see? Well, if this crosses up at any time, if this crosses through this high and you go positive on this MACD down here, I would not be taking anything short on Rolls Royce, me personally. Good morning, Mr. Rosales. And thank you guys for coming in and liking everything. I really do appreciate it. I know you guys probably have missed me just a little bit. It is up a lot. It is up a lot recently. You're seeing a lot of weird behavior. Look at this. Look at that weird behavior. You're literally going up and down 8 points. Like, it's happened 5 times. So interesting. I would say this. I would look up max pain for this. I would look at if you have any way to look at the option flow, see what's more expensive at this level, see if people are trying to really short here or if they are actually trying to take a bunch of calls. If they're taking a bunch of calls, the algorithms might push this down. If they're taking a bunch of puts, then the algorithm might push this up at the end of the day. So we'll see. But I just want you to pay attention to the formation here. In order for a negative trend to be confirmed, what do you need to do? You probably need to take out this low. Right, you probably need to take out this low, create that lower high, and then see that continue. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff over the next few days. Oh yeah, I have been hearing about this one, Green Wave, this one here, and this is one of the ones that I was paying attention to on that. Remember, I just showed you guys the halts. So I showed you guys the halts. This one was being halted a lot very early on last Thursday. It literally got like halted. And what happened was when you paid attention to what gets halted really, really fast off of an open from an extreme low, it saw a rapid move up. And this is what I'm thinking is happening is they're selling short positions, right? So the short sellers are getting out of things like G-Wave in the way that they would get out of AMC. But I think the positions in AMC and GME are huge. I think they are massive. So they're willing to pump this up and then sell, take some of that profit over, and then go over to AMC and buy this thing. Keep trying to suppress it, that is. Keep trying to suppress the price of AMC. Or they may even be holding cash on the side because their liquidity is in the stock market. Okay? So that is very, very scary, and we'll talk about that after we finish up on G-Wave for you. So what do you need to see from G-Wave? Well, the first thing's happening right here, the 30-minute crossing up. But really, what do you need to see? I need to see a 2-hour crossing up into positive territory. But what is this price right here? If this is a good available price right now, that looks awesome. If there is more in it, there's fake pumps, there's fake squeezes and things like that go on. So if they have more manipulation, I have not researched this at all. So I don't know if there's more manipulation in this stock. I don't know if there's a bunch of short sellers in this stock. But as of right now, you would say this is the first pump. And where was it at before? Yeah, I would say there's probably some more short sellers in this move. And you most likely will see this go a little bit more ballistic than what it is right now. Oh my God, yeah, you might see this hit like 50 cents. Actually, if this was suppression here, you might see it go above 50 cents. You might see it go to like 70 or 80 cents. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, you're seeing a lot of them, and this makes sense, right? Get out of your smaller short seller positions early to then go pay for AMC and GME. And the reason AMC and GME, if that happens, can crash the stock market is because this is where their liquidity is. So if they have borrowed too many shares and they do not have enough liquidity, well, what are they going to do? They're going to sell their stocks, which will drive down the SPY and the Qs. They're going to sell their stocks because this is their liquidity. It's derivatives. We can get into it some other time. That is the crazy amount of money type stuff where it's like billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. But as of right now, you would say if all this short selling has to cover, then I think the SPY and the Qs really start to suffer, and a lot of individual stocks might have to be liquidated, right? Their shares might have to be liquidated to pay their fees. PayPal, let's look at PayPal. And then I might have to head out. This was a great test stream. I've really enjoyed it. PayPal, are you crossing over on the daily? Is this like a daily flag? That's some big divergence. I remember talking about that. We've talked about PayPal before. It looks like divergence is there. That played out. So this played out. Now you're at the decision point. right? You're right by that center line. You're deciding to go down. If this starts to lose the 200, it could get ugly. What I would say is 2 hours still. This just crossed down. Looks like downside is likely. That could be brief if the manipulation kicks in. And then you see a divergence, I would immediately flip the script. Let's go into a shorter time frame. Let's go all the way into a 30-minute here. No, you haven't even created a point of divergence for the 30 minutes. So not really a lot to go off of. If you're positive on this, it needs to go positive, right? If you're positive on it, it needs to be in a positive trend. Right now, where is it? Negative trend. Okay, so any kind of bounce will be met with selling because it's in a negative trend. So if that selling doesn't show up and it goes positive, you can be positive on it. As of right now, it looks like we might bounce or go sideways a little bit until the next drop happens. Oof, Dollar Tree, what are you doing, man? Creating triple divergence. So momentum would tell me this is a buy. From my standpoint, momentum would tell me this is a wedge. Momentum would tell me, or the patterns would tell me this is a wedge. The momentum would tell me, hey, I have triple divergence. Hey, I have triple divergence on the R side at the same time. The only problem is you have earnings. When does that happen? Thursday. So you have earnings this week. So if this was very beat up before earnings, okay, well, maybe that sees some kind of upward move. But it's still a 50-50 flip no matter what it looks like. You can read into it a little bit. But I'm going to tell you right now, remember that Zillow trade that really screwed me over? You remember that Zillow trade that really screwed me over? This is what it looked like before that screwed me over. So this is why I say, like, earnings, if you want to be a good trader, just stay away from earnings. Like, the thing is, a lot of retail traders see earnings as extreme volatility, which means extreme price movement, which means I can make a bunch of money. On this channel, we very much so, we say this a lot. The slow way is the fast way. Why do you guys think that I'm still renting a place? Why do you guys think that I've been trading for 10 years and I'm not rich as balls yet? It's because I figured out trading the slow way is the only way to become rich in the market. And I've probably got 5 to 10 years left before I can actually say, like, hey, I've got some good money. And I'm very honest about that. I'm like, I am a diligent trader. I always pay attention to how I can get screwed. I make my money and I'm out. And that is how I do things. And it's really helped me out. It has really helped me out. Stop trying to get rich over a day. If you're trying to get rich over a day, then take one that's a great risk to reward. And that's what I'm doing, right? If I want to get rich by next year, well, what play would make me rich by next year that makes the most sense from a risk to reward standpoint? It's AMC, GME. It's AMC and GME. Those are the two that make the most sense. I can hold that stock with $1,000 to $3,000 over the next whole year. And if there's any kind of corruption that is caught, I get to make a ton of money. Question about Apple. On the 16th of May, I saw divergence on a 2-hour, was expecting a trend reversal, but it didn't happen. What am I looking at wrong? Okay, let's go look at Apple on this, and then this might be the last point that we can go over because I got to help with stuff. Okay, so this is what we talked about, why you have to pay attention to how you can get screwed, first of all. And the second thing is you want to pay attention to how many shorts are coming in when you see this move. Okay, this is something that I haven't talked about very often because, you know, it's something that more so is like very much negative on the market, which with what we're seeing today, like over the last few weeks with the meme stocks and the short selling and the research I've done, now I'm pretty confident the market is 100% rigged to just take money away from retail traders. Because why is there even a dark pool area? Why is there even naked shorts available? Like, that's illegal since 2008. How has no one really been caught in that? I think one person has been caught in that. So, and the algorithms are what screwed you here, most likely. Okay, so right here, this is momentum dying, but how far away are you from the center line? You're still pretty far away, first of all. So if you take this, you have to say, I have to pay attention to how I can get screwed. How could I get screwed? Well, if that 30-minute crosses back on the MACD. So what's this point right here? Friday, May 17th. So Friday, May 17th, where was that? Friday, May 17th, what happened? What should have convinced you, hey, the market makers, the algorithms are trying to take my money. That's the way to put it. The market makers are trying to take my money. This probably happened maybe too many shorts came in the market. We know that people were trying to short the SPY and the Qs heavily in this area when this price action was happening. So what do we pay attention to? Boom, green bar right here. No reason to take shorts anymore. No reason. Nope. No reason. This is how I do things. No reason, because this is my get screwed indicator, if you will. This is my get screwed indicator. I just don't have an actual indicator for it. I'm the indicator. Okay? So I would even take that play. I said myself, hey, I would take that Apple play. But I remember mentioning, if I'm going to get screwed, what's going to happen? 30-minute crosses up into positive territory. And thank you so much for subscribing. I can't check it right now, but thank you so much for subscribing. So right here, this tells you do not go long or do not go short. It tells you do not go short. This means everyone was shorting it. So what does the algorithm say? Calls are cheaper. Calls are cheaper. Calls are cheaper. 30-minute crosses up into positive territory, especially during a short squeeze, you're going to see a higher price. You're going to test the high, go make a new one. We test the high, we make a new one, and then we fizzle out, we go again. But it's getting super tight, which tells me I need to pay attention right now. I need to pay attention to puts and calls right now because this is a major signal. Okay? What is happening? Calls are trickling in. Calls are really coming in. Now you're at 0.81, 0.816 on the PCC. So what does that tell me? This is most likely going to turn down now. This is most likely going to turn down now. Now we have to pay attention. If that turns down, does everyone go short here? Because if everyone goes short right here, then that's going to bounce. According to how the algorithms do things. They are set up to take the retail traders' money. So paying attention to how you can get screwed is one of the most important things you could do. I hope that was very helpful, Srinath, Sampath. This is what you have to do when you take a trade. Just because you go, oh, there's 2-hour divergence, I can leave my computer and go away forever. No, if you see a divergence that's way up here, if that divergence is right here, right here, you want to pay attention to how you get screwed, right? Let's say the MACD is right here right now, and I'm going to take this 2-hour trade, which most likely will head down because calls are trickling in, and I know the algorithms are rigged. The algorithms are saying puts are cheap. Boom, right? I can go look at Max Payne and see the actual reading for Apple at this level. And I can see, is it extremely high to the call side? Okay, then puts are cheaper. So the algorithm is going to flip. Now, even if I had that divergence and it's right by that center line, what would I do as of right now? 30-minute. We're going to do it right now. We're going to watch this right now. This is what you have to pay attention to, how you can get screwed out of this trade. You're able to win in this trade if this goes negative. But notice it's still far away. So what if they do this? A lot of people take puts, and then it goes up again, and people give up, and they go, okay, calls. We see an extremely high call level, and then the algorithms go, okay, now we've tricked them enough. Boom. Let's really make a drop happen so they can't get a position quickly. NVIDIA going to 1,000. That's your fun play. That's your birthday play. Don't ruin your birthday though, you know? Don't ruin your birthday. But I can tell you right now, a bunch of calls are coming into the market, which tells me that NVIDIA is most likely going to drop as of right now. But you have earnings, 50-50 flip, right? In just, what is that, 2 days? Wednesday after hours. So that's today. There you go. So after hours today. I actually knew that. My days are all mixed up. So NVIDIA right now, it would tell you there's a lot of calls trickling in. What do I want to do? I would highly suggest looking up Max Payne right now. I'm not going to look at it right now because I got to go. But I would really pay attention to the puts and calls, and I would just stay away from anything with earnings. Like I don't get it. It's at 1,000. What you probably could do here is realize that we've squeezed so high, and NVIDIA's maybe not the right play because it's going to be expensive. You could probably take a 2-month out short, and you'll probably be right in the next month. Remember, we were looking for a top in May. I think that's still possible right where we're at right now. If we're not going to see that top in May right now, then I believe it's probably halfway through June we're going to see that happen. 2.3 trillion market cap. They're barely making 30 billion a quarter. Well, you know, the same manipulation can happen to the upside. How do we know there's not, you know, borrowed calls to the yang right now? But I can tell you right now, the insiders, I already looked at it. The insiders, if you want the insiders to be behind you on this, the call side you know, we'll pretend this is the center line. The call side does not look like this anymore for the insiders. In fact, the selling side actually is going like this. Right? And we'll pull that, we'll start to pull that stuff up once I have my full setup, guys. I really was just doing this for a test, and I'm glad I could be at least a little bit helpful. I'm playing TLT hard for a long. That's what you should look at? Yeah, let's look at TLT as well. We haven't looked at that yet. So TLT, the only reason I'm worried about this is because of, I believe, FOMC minutes, right? So FOMC minutes, he did bait people the last time he talked and mentioned a cut maybe in September. And I don't know if he's going to, I think he's going to keep it the same. And I think that might make TLT go down. So what would I pay attention to? Well, if you're taking a long on this, just note, if you're part of the Patreon, I believe, Miles, and you're outside of the monthly, I believe you were outside of the weekly up here. And what happens? Well, if this rolls down and goes negative, then that can really be ripped away. So the good part is this happens during market hours. So if this rotates down, you see that cross down, you know, hey, I don't need to take any long here. And then the cool part is if, let's say that first reaction is down, the second reaction goes right back up, and this goes right back to green, hey, get back in the move. You're always flipping back and forth. Do not let them fake you out. All right, literally last one, shop. We'll talk about the SPY, just one last little look, and then we'll be done, okay? Because I got to go. But the daily side for Shopify here is what's happening. The daily is really, really beat up. Okay, really beat up. So what can we see? A reaction. You can get a reaction. You're trying to base out. Let's look at a 2-hour chart. Not the best look. Okay, not the best look. So this here is something to pay attention to. Is there a trade setup here? You might say on a 30-minute you have some divergences going on. I would look into it, but I'd pay attention to how I can get screwed, right? So if this 30-minute rotates down, actually even if the 15-minute, I would look at a 15-minute. If the 15-minute, I want to be tight with it. If the 15-minute rotates down, there's no reason for me to take downside. As of right now, it looks decent. It looks like you're popping up, you're flagging out, and now you can head higher. So what do I want my confirmation for upside to be? Just follow this 5-minute, making another upward move. And then what do I need to know how I can get screwed? 15-minute rotates down, then I know, ooh, I don't need to be taking any long here. I'm just waiting for the big move on AMC, but not complaining, still making some small profit. That's how you can really play this thing, right? Really, if you wanted to make some good money on AMC and GME, all you have to do is look at a 5-minute chart. All you have to do is look at like a 5-minute chart. Literally, every time the 5-minute chart crosses, you just buy and sell. Like literally. Look at this. Look up here, this volatility. What could you have done? Well, let's see. Cross down. All right, shorts. Boom, that paid. Cross back up. Okay, calls. 42.30 to 49. Sell. Like you just, I mean, every single time this, you could take little plays and then still hold the stock at lower levels. Like if that's how you want to do it, and then you can just use that money to add your position. And that's, you know, it's funny, doing this is what I'm talking about, what the actual short sellers are probably doing with the other stocks that they're causing to go insane. But if you think that AMC and GME went that high with that amount of volume because of a tweet, you're wrong. Why? Because he kept tweeting, and where'd the price go? It went down. So that means someone tried to cover, and then they realized, okay, we can really suppress this. We can suppress this. Halt it. That's all that's happening. But I'm here to hold. I don't care. The risk to reward is great. If I lose $2,500, whatever. If I make $100,000, freaking awesome. All right, guys, I gotta hop off. I gotta go help out around the house. We're trying to get some stuff fixed up and get this. I got to get this room cleared out before my new couch comes in. And I'll show you guys once it's all set up. I'll take a picture of it because it's pretty sweet. It's not the best place in the world, but I preach it. I practice exactly what I preach, right? So I'm renting a place that is affordable. It is good. I can save money. I can trade. I can still continue to trade like water, grow money over time, make money the slow way in the market so that I can make money the fast way in the market, which is the slow way, right? Because if you try to go too fast, you can lose everything. So very, very nice I love my new place. I really, really do. And tri-level townhome. It's awesome. Getting your orders filled is different though. Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. All right, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Let me just take a last peek here at, let's go look at XLU. Just make sure nothing's happening on that. And I might have to take off. Now the 2 hour, looks like we can get that curl up, maybe a double top here. Just remember, pay attention, guys. Once this crosses down, you know there's gonna be some negativity. Right? We know there's going to be some negativity, but the last 3 or 4 times that this XLU crash signal has happened, we've dropped down and then we've seen another move up to either make a double top or another move higher to make a divergence. And once that happened, that is when the actual crash came. So just pay attention out there. When do I think I'll be back? I'm going to be showing up here every single morning for at least an hour. I still have a lot of stuff to do. And then once by Sunday, I should be fully set up. But I am going to try to make a YouTube video and start my YouTube videos back up tonight. It will just look a lot like this. We'll just be kind of going through stocks pretty quickly. It won't be the absolute best, but like I said, we're going to tell it how it is from now on. We're most likely going to put a sale on the course because I think volatility is going to come up. And that's when I like to do the sales. When I think volatility can go up and people can lose a lot of money, I want you guys to have those skills. So, and we're going to be adding things to the course too. So even if if I put it for $99, even if you paid a little bit more than that, it's perfectly fine. You're getting more content. I'm adding content to it right now. So I'm going to be putting in a section literally called how to not get screwed. And you guys will love that. Like if you can learn that, there is no way in hell you will not be successful. If you can learn the correct trade setups, learn when to go learn when to go long, learn when to go short, whatever, and then after that, if you just pay attention to how you can get screwed, oh my God, it will make you so much better, okay? I appreciate you guys. I'll be live tomorrow morning at the open. I will hopefully be putting out a YouTube video, but make sure to turn your notifications on, okay, guys? Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys later.